So, music is pretty important, right? I mean, just in your day-to-day life, have you ever considered how much of a role music plays for you? Me personally, I wake up and the first thing I do is throw on a song for the shower. Then I play music on my way to work, and then throughout the day I hum whatever random song or melody might be in my head at that moment. And whenever I talk to my friends, peers, or coworkers, I usually end up talking about something music related at some point in the conversation. Music surrounds us both in our home life and our social life. It's in the marketing and entertainment that we consume, and speaking from personal experience again, I can say that many of my favorite memories have some kind of song or piece of music associated with it. Music is art, obviously, and when talking about a visual medium like film and television, it can be easy to forget how important the audible aspect of that medium is to the overall quality of the final product. It's not a coincidence that most of the best shows and movies also have great soundtracks, scores, and theme songs. Really, have you ever thought about that? Think about all the most popular and iconic TV shows over the last century or so, and then think about whether or not they had an equally as iconic or catchy theme song. Sitcoms like Friends, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Seinfeld, all those Nickelodeon sitcoms from my childhood that Dan Schneider's creepy ass made. There's dramas like Succession, The Wire, Game of Thrones, Law & Order. Anime has always had its own industry standard genre of theme songs, and though it's definitely not for everybody, just like anime itself honestly, for the people it is for, a lot of that really slaps. Like, I don't know what genre of music this Full Metal Alchemist opening theme could be classified under, but it's been stuck in my head for over a decade now. Even American cartoons like SpongeBob, The Simpsons, Family Guy, The Boondocks, that one's really good by the way. And that's just barely scratching the surface of possible examples. The Boondocks is one of my favorite shows of all time, and that's something I've been saying since I was a kid, but I only recently started to understand why it's so good. A huge aspect of its greatness is its great soundtrack and score. I've explained in my Boondocks retrospective series that the music of the Boondocks, as with many other elements of the show, changes pretty drastically from season to season. Season 1 is packed with an insane amount of individualized snippets and samples of jazzy piano pieces, dramatic and emotional string pieces, and some classic boom-bap hip-hop and soulful R&B. These different genres and samples are dispersed throughout all 15 episodes of Season 1 at the perfect moments. There are so many classic and memorable melodies, musical moments, and official songs from Season 1. It's my favorite season of the show for many reasons, and the music is definitely one of those reasons. Because music is art, obviously, it also is extremely subjective, obviously. So I understand if the more laid-back, soulful, and jazzy hip-hop and R&B of Season 1 isn't everybody's cup of tea. But I do think that Season 1 puts the biggest emphasis and the most effort into the music of the show than any other season. It feels like every scene has a score that perfectly mimics and follows the flow and changing emotions and tones between the characters.
They wouldn't listen to me. They never listen to me.
I know you want to save the world, Hori, but sometimes people have to learn lessons on their own, the hard way. Well, can't miss the idol. If you ever want to talk, remember, I'm always listening.
And it's interlaced so seamlessly that it took me decades to even notice how well it was executed. From the credits, it seems that the music supervision for the Boondocks was handled by a man named Derek Big Tank Thornton, who, funny enough, you can actually hear Granddad mention when he records his diss track to Thugnificent.
Oh, hush, boy. I can rap. Big Tank, please make it hot, player. Yeah, this rap go out to Thugnificent in all his fame.
I'm not sure how much of the actual implementation of the music he oversaw, but he definitely deserves his flowers for how well the music of this show turned out. And I have to mention Ashru as well, because they're the ones responsible for the all-time classic banger that is the intro theme song. They also did a couple of other songs for the show, but really I feel like this is their claim to fame. From the lyrics and the imagery to the instrumental, everything about the Boondocks opening theme is perfect. The point of a theme song is to 1, encapsulate the vibe and the aesthetic of a show, and then 2, be good enough and catchy enough to make the audience want to sit down and watch more. I think we can all safely agree that this theme song does both of those two things amazingly well.
I am the ballad in your box, the bullet in the gun, the inner glow that let you know to call your brother son. The story that just begun, the promise of what's to come, and I'ma remain a soldier till the war is won.
I also want to talk about some of the needle drops in Season 1, because goddamn are they memorable. From Kanye West's Gold Digger playing in the Guess Who's Coming to Dinner episode, to MF Doom and Madlib's Strange Ways playing when Ed and Rummy are robbing the bank, to the Wu-Tang track Guillotine being played during Huey's samurai dream fight against Stinkmeaner. And of course, the entire season and narrative climax coming together over the sound of Isabel Antenna's I Believe in It. There are more that I can mention and have mentioned in other videos, but it's clear that Season 1 not only had great original pieces, it also had an amazing array of songs from outside artists as well. Also, almost every episode in Season 1 concludes with Huey giving some sort of monologue that brilliantly sums up the main themes and the plot of the story. What helps to elevate these moments is that Huey's powerful words are always accompanied by a fittingly beautiful score of either dramatic strings or the same jazzy piano flourishes in the background that I've mentioned before. A few examples of this are his monologue at the end of the reel.
It seems to be getting harder, distinguishing reality from the illusions people make for us, or from the ones we make for ourselves.
His monologue at the end of Trial of R. Kelly.
You do what you can to help black folks, and they make you wonder why you even bother. But they're our people, and we gotta love them regardless.
And his monologue at the end of Return of the King.
King's speech was replayed the entire next day on the cable news channels. Then, something unexpected happened. People got angry.
All of these monologues would have been powerful and poignant without the backing music. But with the music behind these words, every sentence becomes twice as impactful and evocative. And also, I can't forget to mention the moments where characters break into songs themselves. I mean, Granddad's New Shoes song melody is one of the catchiest things ever, and I love how he kind of switches it up throughout the rest of the seasons.
New shoes, boy, Nike makes some good shoes. I lived, you died. I lived and you died.
Ruckus singing Don't Trust Them New Niggas is great.
Don't trust them new niggas over there, leaving they nigga essence in the air.
Tom singing literally anything.
Make the music with your mouthpiece. Oh. Bum, 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 bum. I can see clearly now the rain has gone. Bum, 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 bum.
And of course, there are those classic Boondocks universe jams like Thuggin' Love and Booty Butt Cheeks, which, for the record, I think I am fully converted into saying that it's Move Them Butt Cheeks. I know this has always been a hotly debated topic, but after re-listening to its first ever version from the R. Kelly episode, I think the original lyrics were always meant to be Move Them Butt Cheeks, but you can listen for yourself.
To the right. Shake. You boys cover your eyes. Shake. Got to leave something to the imagination. That's just showing too much booty.
Okay, I'm done glazing Season 1, I promise. For now. Let's talk about the music of Season 2. Season 2 focused much more on streamlined, character-specific, and moment and location-specific themes that would repeat constantly throughout each episode. Like, you will hear this instrumental by Ninth Wonder all throughout Season 2. And you might also be shocked to hear that the iconic Uncle Ruckus theme actually didn't make its debut until Season 2.
May white God bless you, Robert. I came as fast as I could.
So this is the plan. Uncle Ruckus.
Let's get this party started.
And as good as a lot of these themes are, the music collection overall in Season 2 was kind of a downgrade from Season 1. But that doesn't mean that the music is bad in Season 2. It's definitely not bad, because Season 2 brought with it Thugnificent. And Thugnificent's music fittingly becomes sort of like the soundtrack for Season 2. He technically made his debut in Season 1 with Move Them Butt Cheeks, but let's say that his Season 2 Episode 5 appearance is his true debut. Thugnificent's music in the show is kind of interesting because even though he's supposed to be a sort of parody of bling rap era artists from the mid to late 2000s, I gotta say that a lot of these snippets that we hear, pretty fucking good. Some of this gets into Season 3 territory, but there's Stomp 'em in the Nuts.
Stomp 'em in the nuts. We'll stomp 'em in the nuts. We'll stomp 'em in the nuts. I'ma stomp 'em in the nuts. We'll stomp 'em in the nuts. We'll stomp 'em in the nuts. We'll stomp 'em in the nuts. I'ma stomp 'em in the nuts.
Terrible and Terabelle.
It's terrible and terrible. That's where I'm from. It's terrible and
Wow, so you used it on this one too.
Yep, every song on the whole CD.
Way Too Many Cars in My Driveway.
Too many cars in my driveway. I got planes, nigga, I'm paid. Way too many cars in my driveway. I got boats, I got planes.
And of course, the greatest song in the history of the Boondocks, a song that I still sing all the time almost 2 decades later, the immortal certified hood classic, F Granddad.
You just mad cause your ass is old. First thing you do is just pick up the phone.
Eat a dick, nigga.
Living next to your home. Motherfucking grandpa, old nigga, it's on.
Oh, motherfucker.
Seriously, this song is way better than it has any right to be. I genuinely believe that if this was released in the real world and not just a short part in the Boondocks, it would be on the Billboard charts 100%. Season 2 also gives us a couple great Metaphor the Genius songs, one of my favorites being the song that he performs during the Shining episode when Riley is flexing and showing off his new chain from the Lethal Interjection.
I done came up, got my name up. So when they speak of who blinged up, I'm who they bring up. Come up dissing and you'll come up missing. I'm a cutthroat baller like O.J. Simpson. Little homie, listen, try and serve me. I put a 25 in your back like Barry Bonds jersey.
He also provides the background music for one of the best moments in the history of the show, the Season 2 fight between the Freeman family and Tom Meaner, or Demon Stink Meaner.
Now this is what they think somebody playing with him.
You ain't
Ain't nobody
gonna
playing
get
with him.
that ass whooped.
Come on,
Uh-huh.
I'm ready.
Bring it on.
I don't want song, but I carry a big stick. I hear you playing the same, but you got one joystick. Stay getting drained. Follow the sun. And haters, I got the numbers like 4-1.
I've already talked at length about how much I love this fight scene. It really felt like it elevated the whole show to another level back when I first watched it in 2007. In a weird way, it's actually pretty similar to the moment in Naruto where Rock Lee drops the weight, just completely elevates the tone and the epic standard of the show. It's the perfect example of great music enhancing great visuals. Season 2 has a lot more of Tom singing as well, and it might have the best Tom cover of them all. My man Tom sings Let It Burn with his whole motherfucking heart. And it's gotten to the point where sometimes I actually prefer to hear Tom's version over Usher's. You See My Chest will always live on forever to me.
You see my chest?
And I can't forget to mention the insane Rollo Goodlove performance in the Hunger Strike episode, or the great karate music inspired background song that plays at the end of Or Die Trying. Or even the haunting and tragic string-heavy piece that plays during Riley and Huey's scenes in Home Alone. Like I said, Season 2 isn't as consistently good musically as Season 1 to me, but there's still a lot to love, and some of the best musical moments in the history of the show are in Season 2. Oh yeah, and the needle drop for Rock and Roll Gangsta and the story of Gangstalicious Part 2 still has me shook all these years later. One of the dopest ways to end an episode of television that I've ever seen. Season 3 brought back the concept of an accompanying score that would flow with the emotions of each scene. But instead of the wandering and often melancholy jazz-influenced sound of Season 1, Season 3 goes for a much more grandiose and epic type of score that fits the season's much bigger change in tone. Season 3 also seemed to have a bigger focus on Boondocks' original songs than the other seasons. I already mentioned some of the Thugnificent tracks that debuted in Season 3, but there's also the Dick Riding Obama song from the season opener that's fucking hilarious and still pretty catchy.
Got up this morning, things weren't working right. I said I wanna make a change, I said I wanna fight. Obama walked up and said, yes, we can. I said I wanna ride your nuts, cause I think you're the man.
Then there's that weird as hell Winston Jerome Rocky Horror Picture Show inspired song from the equally as weird Pause episode.
Hot boiled bananas and cream, white unicorns and wet dreams, rainbow and lace. Oh, it makes me want to stream. Anything is possible with Jesus on our team.
And of course, there's the entire episode dedicated to the most racist music you will ever hear in the Jimmy Rebel episode. Seriously, those songs are so racist and offensive that no streaming service will put that episode on their site. Think about that for a second and let that sink in. Think about all of the crazy, potentially offensive shit that's in the Boondocks, and then think about the fact that all of that was acceptable. But the Jimmy Rebel episode is so overboard, so overly racist, that HBO Max and every other streaming site was like, yeah, we're good on that one. While definitely racist, those songs are pretty funny.
Step back, silverback, hold on, blackie. Steal some gas for your Cadillac. Head downtown with them coons and clowns. Just stay away from me.
I also really like the old Samurai Champloo sounding theme that plays throughout the Red Ball episode.
You are the one who quit the game.
Season 3 is an interesting case when it comes to the music because as good as the score and the soundtrack is, I don't really have much to say about it. I guess that's because they went for a more standard Hollywood style of music most of the time in this season as opposed to the much more interesting and unique styles of music from seasons 1 and 2. And all I can really say about the music of season 3 is that it's pretty dope. Oh yeah, and the Stinkmeaner song in the Hideaki episode goes stupid. And then there's season 4, which, you know what? Never mind. Let's just keep acting like that season doesn't exist. Except for my retrospective video about season 4. That's real, and that's really dope. And you should definitely watch it, if you haven't already. And even if you have, watch it again. I swear you'll like it even more the second time. There are so many positive things you could say about the music of the Boondocks. It's powerful, it's unique, it's creative, it's impactful, it's inspiring. Oftentimes when I think about my favorite scenes and moments from the show, it's usually a moment that has some kind of great musical score behind it. The Boondocks introduced me to a lot of great music. It put me on to a lot of great genres of music that I otherwise probably wouldn't have known about. In a certain way, the music of the Boondocks has become a part of the soundtrack of my life. And in saying that, it doesn't sound too crazy to then say that the Boondocks music has changed my life. I wouldn't be who I am without the music of the Boondocks. And that's the power of music. Great songs and melodies interweave themselves into your actual essence. It allows us to broaden our minds and open us to different possibilities. Not everyone is musically gifted or musically talented, but we all have some song that means a lot to us. A song that's helped us heal, a song that's helped us grow, a song that's helped shape us into who we are as people. Whatever song, album, artist that may be, I hope you listen to them today and enjoy it like the first time you ever heard it. And then try to find a new song, album, or artist who can help you grow in a similar way. Great music makes great art, and it can also make us greater people.